Hey everybody, welcome back to a North Texas Weather Center forecast, and today what we're going over is that potential for severe weather tonight across North Texas and the notable changes that you should be aware of heading into tonight. Now, before we get too far into this video, make sure to subscribe and as well as like the video down below for more great forecasts. Let's get right into it though. The risk has not changed yet for today, and I say yet because it might change this afternoon. As of right now, there's still a slight risk for severe weather across northwestern North Texas. That does still include northwestern DFW like Denton County and back off to the northwest. Main potential for today still being damaging winds and large to potentially very large hail as well. So we'll have two threats to watch very closely for today. Can't rule out an isolated brief tornado closer to the Red River Valley, but it'll be a pretty low end risk today. Not really too concerned about that. The rest of North Texas currently in a marginal risk for severe weather. Again, the same threats being just damaging winds and large hail in those regions. Here's my own outlook for today. You can see that the overall tornado threat is fairly low today. You can see it's a 1 out of 10 on the scale, which basically means it's a 10% chance within about a 50-mile radius. I'm not really expecting this to be much of a threat today. The damaging wind threat, on the other hand, is about a 5 out of 10 on the scale, so about a 50% chance within a 25-mile radius. This is a little bit on the higher end now than what it was yesterday, and yesterday was about a 4 out of 10, so it's a little bit higher. The large hail threat is also slightly higher. It was a 3 out of 10 yesterday, now it's up to a 5 out of 10. Again, a 50% probability within a 50-mile radius of maybe some large hail. Flooding threat is also fairly low today, both of those being on the lower scale. Let's get into the future radar. I'm going to show you a couple of the future radars here and kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at tonight. There's two possibilities that could happen tonight. Now, the first one's going to be more of an outflow dominant storms, which would primarily be a bit more of a widespread situation in terms of rain, but it would also bring primarily just damaging winds. This would basically mean there would be a stronger cap in place. So you can see right around 8 to 9 o'clock, you can see maybe a line of storms coming toward the Metroplex. By 10 to 11 o'clock, those showers and storms move through, and eventually by midnight, 1 in the morning, it starts to fizzle out as it moves off to the east. That's scenario 1. Now, for scenario 2, this shows a bit more of a discrete supercell action. This would primarily be any threat, so damaging winds, large hail, maybe even an isolated tornado threat existing, but that primarily would still be off to our north. See, by about 6 to 7 o'clock, really still nothing really popping up, but by 8, these storms start to explode when that cap kind of weakens and kind of falls apart. So you can see maybe some discrete supercells developing just west of I-35. By 9 to 10 o'clock, they start to move out to the northeast. Now, really at this point, it looks like this would be a bit more of a lesser action sort of thing, so we're not going to be seeing a widespread event, more like a 30 to 40% chance of storms tonight for those just west of I-35. And eventually by about 11 to 12 o'clock, these storms start to kind of fizzle out closer to the Metroplex as daylight heating expires. So these storms will be probably about 4 hours in length at the most. And eventually by 1 to 2 o'clock, still some storms north of the Red River Valley ongoing, but other than that, we'll probably clear out. So what changed today in terms of why is the threat level higher? Well, here's a National Weather Service sounding from this morning. The weather balloon got shot up this morning, and you can see that this is basically what the big change is. The lifting condensation level, which is where clouds really develop, is actually a lot higher. Here's your temperature inversion at the surface, and then here's your lifting condensation level. There's actually no little temperature inversion above this. So that basically means clouds could potentially develop and make some supercell storms later today. That's the big change. Really, this was not expected today. Obviously, the level of free convection as well as up here. So basically where clouds develop and as well as they kind of explode and make storms is a lot higher than really what was expected. So you can see the cap here at the surface. These would basically mean there would be at least some elevated storms. So we're probably going to see some showers and storms tonight. Now, again, weather balloon will probably be shot off later today to see how strong that cap actually is, but it's a lot weaker of a cap than initially anticipated. And also just another little look at the radar right now. Here's the satellite imagery from really about 12 o'clock today. So when you're watching this, it might be a little bit after that, but see actually some showers and storms have tried to develop south of I-20, which again, they're fighting a strong cap right now, but these are elevated. But again, nothing too crazy out of those. It's just a little bit of rain at this point, but you can try to see, I mean, they're obviously, this was not forecasted originally. We're probably going to see more storms tonight, and it's a bit of a change in the forecast. So just kind of keep that in mind for tonight, and make sure you stay updated with North Texas Weather Center again for the latest on both Facebook, YouTube, as well as Instagram, and on Twitter for the latest. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting, All Debts Repair, and the Dashner Law Firm.